In this video, I'm going to explain to you guys the 5 daily habits that made me the most money when it comes to sports betting. Starting at number 5, consistency. I can't stress how important this really is because when I used to start betting on sports, I was not consistent at all. I used to just basically bet on the weekends. That's the only time that I really wanted to bet. Why? Because football's on the weekend. So what you do is you go and you're like, oh, okay, it's Sunday, let me put some bets in here. Well, that's not really taking it serious. I come across a lot of those people, all right, that are weekend warriors is what I call them now. They want to just play the games on the weekends. They don't want to do anything during the week. You got to realize this, that when you are just trying to bet on the weekends, you're not taking this serious. Just like anything. If you're trying to go into the gym aspect, you're trying to get more fit. If you just go on the weekends, your results are not going to be as great as if you do it every day. Same thing applies here with sports betting. So if you just go in on the weekends, guess what? You need to basically win Saturday and Sunday every single week, because if you don't, then it's just going to be twice as hard to get back what you lost the weekend before, because you're only playing for 2 days. Remember that. Now, when it comes to being consistent, if you're doing this every day, 7 days of the week, realize that you only need to win 5 out of those 7 days of the week, 4 out of those 7 days of the week. You can afford to lose a couple days here and there, but when you're only playing on the weekends, you can't afford to lose. And I hate to break it to you, a lot of people that are the weekend warriors that like to just bet on football, just like how I did when I first started out, well, guess what? You end up losing on the weekend, and then what happens? It's the same thing happens over and over. You lose on the weekend, you either tilt on Monday Night Football and unload all your money on a game that you shouldn't probably be betting on, or you wait till next week, you get paid, and then you go and blow it that weekend on those games that are listed for that weekend. It's the same rotation over and over. And this is a lot. I would say 80% of the sports bettors in the industry that are recreational bettors that just like to do it on the weekends, that is pretty much the rotation that you guys go through over and over like that. You don't even realize how much money you're losing because now you go a whole week without betting, and just builds up that anticipation to be able to bet again on the weekend. But when you're betting consistently and you're able to see exactly day in and day out if you're winning or losing, and over a week, over a month, over a year, you can see exactly what is going on. That is when you can truly tell yourself if you're doing the right thing or not. Being a recreational bettor and a weekend bettor is okay if you're just doing it for fun and you don't care to lose money, because you are going to lose money that way regardless. And if that's your goal for it, then that's fine. But if you want to take this serious and you want to take your sports betting to the next level, you need to learn that consistency is very important, and you should understand that you need to do it day in and day out to really actually be successful. Now let's get to number 4, controlling your emotions. I can't stress how important this is. Just like how I just referenced, people that lose on the weekends, usually on Sunday football, Monday Night Football, guess what? Their emotions are going crazy. You lose during the day on Sunday, your emotions are going crazy, you're tilting, you're gonna blow everything on either Sunday Night Football or Monday Night Football. I know, it's happened to me. When I first started sports betting, I did the same stuff. Those of you that have been watching my channel, you know the story that I tell you all the time on where I tilted when I was young and threw all my money on Monday Night Football. And it wasn't even because of football losing. It was because I was sitting at the roulette table that day and losing. And it's the worst thing possible, because you could lose everything in your whole bankroll just in a matter of a couple days, just by your emotions taking control and you not being able to understand that losing is part of the game. Let's move on to the next day. That's why consistency and controlling your emotions, they go hand in hand, because when you're consistent and you control your emotions, you understand there's more stuff for tomorrow. It doesn't matter what happened today. Tomorrow is what matters now. And let's move on. This is where 80 to 90% of sports bettors fall off. They cannot control their emotions. The reason why is because there's something in your mental state that just puts, like, when you lose something, you want to get it back the quickest way possible. So what's the quickest way to get that back? Is to either double it up on the next one or just go all in on the next one. That's how you get it back. But that's a recipe for disaster when you don't know what you're doing. So controlling your emotions is way more important than most people think. Now let's get to number 3, chasing losses. I was able to take chasing losses out of my daily habit because, again, this goes hand in hand with what I just told you before, your emotions. So what's going to happen is you lose a bet, you want that money back, so what do? You go and bet the next game. Might not even be a part of the strategy that you were trying to implement, but you just go and you just bet the next game. Next thing you know, you lose that one. Now you're trying to bet the next game after that. You lose that one. Now you're betting everything on the next one. And these games probably you wouldn't even have bet if you won your original bet. So you need to understand, chasing your losses is going to doom you. It's 100% fail rate. When you are chasing your losses, maybe you will win one of those times. And when you lose a game and then you bet the next one ill-advised and you end up winning, but guess what? More often than not, you are going to lose doing that. Chasing your losses is never a great way to be successful in sports betting. It always ends up where you lose all of your bankroll. Now, if you guys want a free 30 days of picks just to kind of see where my mind is at, usually on a daily basis, make sure you guys go in the description and click the link. Also, if you don't have any sports books in your area because FanDuel, DraftKings, they're not legal yet, well, I have 2 sports books that you guys can use that are offshore, that are solid sports books because you don't need to be using bookies. Go down in the description and there is 2 in there for you if you want to use them. Now let's get to number 2, changing unit sizes. This happens a lot where people don't know exactly the amount they should be betting, so they're just betting random amounts all the time. Well, the reason why this is a setup for disaster as well is because, let's say for example, some people don't even know what a unit size is, and you're just going into a bet. You bet $100 on this game, you end up winning. Next thing you know, you bet $300 on the next game, you end up losing. Then you put $100 on the next game, you win. Then you put $200 on the next one and you lose. Well, guess what? Now you actually would have had kind of a decent record there, and you've lost a ton of money. Because here's the thing, nobody knows what bet is going to win, which one's a guaranteed bet, which one you should put more money on. The only thing that you can do is have the probabilities and the right strategies in place to be able to give yourself the highest probability of that play actually winning. But that doesn't mean that you should go put more money on it. That's not what that means, because you have to be strict with your unit size, and you have to understand your unit size should be 1 to 2 to 3% of your bankroll, and you should be rolling with that number for an entire month. You should not be doing $100 here, $300 here, $200 here, $500 here. You should not be doing that. It is a recipe for disaster, because you could have a winning record and a nice percentage, but your losses were 3 unit plays or 4 or 5 unit plays, and that really will set you back. So you can't do that. You need to be able to stick to 1 unit size. I realize that as a daily habit, you need to be able to stick to your unit size and not vary from it. Unless you're starting off a brand new month and you're fresh, you can adjust accordingly to what your bankroll is. Now let's get to number 1, ignoring the media outlets that are out there and what they want to say, the so-called professionals that are in the sport giving you advice about sports betting. You know, athletes that are out there, it's on TV all day long. You guys know. In the mornings, they have all these shows, all these sports betting shows, but you got to understand this. None of them actually have your best interest at hand. They just don't. They're reading off a teleprompter screen. That's all they're doing. Somebody else is typing all that information up for them. Now you got to realize this, that most of the time when they tell you stuff, it's probably going to end up losing. People look at them because they're like, oh, well, they're professional athletes. They should know their sport, right? That's got nothing to do with sports betting. Being a professional athlete does not go hand in hand with sports betting whatsoever. You could know a team, you could know the certain plays and stuff like that, but that has nothing to do with the line movement. It has nothing to do with that stuff, plain and simple. I get this a lot where so many people come across and they're like, well, I played sports, I played basketball, so I bet on basketball because I know basketball. That has nothing to do with sports betting. I hate to tell you that. I played football. Applying what I've learned in football has nothing to do with sports betting. Same things goes with those people that you watch on TV, even the analysts that are on there. None of them are professional sports bettors. So they can give you good statistics on things and tell you good stats that are written up for them that are, like I said, on a teleprompter screen. But other than that, they do not know the sports betting industry. They don't even bet themselves, some of them. So many people just trust what they see on TV and they just listen to it, and then you go out and you place those bets and then you end up losing. I like to say in college football, they always do, that slate at the end of college game day where they're all talking about what teams are they taking with the spread and everything like that. So many people watch that and they'll go out and they'll place those bets, and more often than not, they'll end up losing just because they just listen to the people that are on TV. You got to understand this. You only listen to people that you want to be like. That's it. You don't want to watch professional athletes and listen to them unless you want to be a professional athlete. Why am I going to watch a professional athlete and learn about sports betting? Why? Makes no sense. So the only reason I say this about the media is because so many people watch that stuff. So many people are attracted to big name athletes and them giving them advice. And people might say stuff in the comments for this, but it's 100% true. If you play the sport, that does not mean that you understand sports betting. Now, once again, let's go through those 5 daily habits that you should start implementing in your sports betting today. You need to be consistent. That means betting every day. That does not mean being a recreational weekend bettor, unless that's really what your goal is. Number 4 is going to be controlling your emotions. You got to control your emotions. Got to understand that your emotions are going to dictate what your mind does. Number 3, don't be chasing your losses. Every time you chase your loss, that's just a recipe for disaster. Number 2, understand what your unit size is and make sure you stick to the same unit size. And number 1, don't be fooled what you see on TV, on the mainstream media of professional athletes giving you advice on sports betting, because they do not go hand in hand. As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.